In a previous video, we talked about how to install the Pantograph Gridz onto your long arm. Today what I want to do is talk about how to go ahead and put a pantograph underneath the Pantograph Gridz and get it lined up and ready for quilting. The first thing I've done is gone ahead and loaded my sample quilt. With the needle of the machine, I have gone ahead and indicated where my leading edge on the right hand side is. I've gone ahead and used a dry erase marker, and these dry erase markers are available at any of your big box retailers. This particular one came with an eraser and some cleaner. But I went ahead and marked the right hand side of where my quilt starts. I did the same thing on the left hand side where my quilt ends. Just for purposes of this video, I've also gone ahead and made a center line on the Pantograph Gridz just as an easy indicator. After you have these things marked, you can go ahead and choose your pantograph and then go ahead and get it loaded underneath the Pantograph Gridz. I'm going to be using Zest today by Patricia Ritter as my sample, and you can see on the pantograph I also made a center line on this particular pantograph just as a way to show you how to center these. I don't make a center line on a pantograph traditionally. I just wanted to show you how it does line up. So if we take the beginning of the pantograph, we get that loaded up on my right hand side, and then I'm just going to slide the pantograph up until the red line on the pantograph matches up on the red line on my Pantograph Gridz. And right here you can see we have that centered up. Now, other ways that you can reference this are already on the pantograph. You have the printed line which runs the full length of, with the design. All you have to do is choose a line on your Pantograph Gridz to make sure that that lines up all the way across the edge of the pantograph. Another way is just to look at the paper itself. The paper itself should be equidistant to the edge of the plastic of the Pantograph Gridz. That will be a little bit difficult on my particular setup because I have white paper on the table just so you could see my red lines. Otherwise you wouldn't have been able to see them with the lighting on there. On the right hand side, the pantograph is already ready to go. On the left hand side, where I know that the pantograph the design is going to go on and off the quilt, what I would do with my dry erase marker is edit that design ever so lightly so that I don't ever have to sew off of the quilt and back on, which can sometimes be problematic. Also, if you needed to edit the bottom, this would be the time to do that. But basically, you have three ways. You could have made a line on there to test the center. You have the printed line on both the top and bottom, which you could choose to test all the way across. You also could choose just an element that repeats itself on the design and make sure that it lines up at the same position on the Pantograph Gridz all the way across. Those are all the ways that you can test to make sure that the pantograph is centered on the table and the Pantograph Gridz. And then you're ready to go ahead and get your needle into position, your startup position, and start sewing on your pantograph.